The U.S. Fair Use Basics.
Remember my earlier video about the U.S. copyright law? The U.S. copyright law tells you what exclusive rights you have as a copyright holder. It also tells you things you cannot do if you don't own the copyright or don't have a permission from the copyright holder. It's kind of clear-cut. There's not much gray area. How about fair use then? Unlike the U.S. copyright law, fair use doesn't tell you what you can do or you cannot do. It doesn't tell you what rights you have in regard to using copyrighted materials. Fair use is not a law. It's a doctrine or a set of guidelines which you must use to analyze each individual copyright-related situation you encounter and make the best guess about whether your situation may lean toward fair use or copyright infringement. In other words, a decision about whether it is a fair use or not is case by case. Then how are you supposed to analyze fair use situations? What are the guidelines? Suppose you are a high school teacher and are distributing pages from my research paper to your students in class. Is it fair use? The answer is, you don't know yet. When examining and making a decision about fair use, you must consider these four factors: nature, purpose, amount, and impact. Nature refers to the nature of the content or material that you are using. It mainly concerns about whether it is factual or creative. Facts are like today's weather, historical events, daily news, laws of physics, and so on. Creativeness is like this video you're watching right now, novels, art pieces, songs, and so on. The biggest characteristic of a creative work is that someone created it out of his or her intellectual or artistic effort rather than it just happened. That's why copyrighted works are often called intellectual or artistic properties. Purpose refers to the reason why you are using the copyrighted materials. It mainly concerns about whether it is educational or not. When you say educational, there are different levels of being educational. Generally speaking, classroom-related instruction activities are given higher privileges than non-classroom-related educational activities. Amount refers to how much of the copyrighted work you're using. Technically, using less is considered more fair. Generally speaking, using someone's work in its entirety with no alterations is not considered fair. What if you took someone's work and have altered and transformed its appearance and essence? Was it fair? Yes. The key here is that you didn't just modify it, you have transformed it. And finally, impact refers to how the way you are using the copyrighted work may affect the copyright holder socioeconomically. Obviously, you don't want to cause a negative impact on the copyright holder's life financially, professionally, or socially. These four factors are not dichotomous. They are, rather, a continuum. For example, with amount, it cannot be either 100% fair or 100% infringement. You can only say it's leaning more towards fair use or infringement, or how much it's leaning toward either fair use or infringement. Impact is the same way. It's so difficult to say this much financial impact is 100% fair or 100% not fair. It's usually more like saying this much financial impact is 3 out of 10 on a fairness scale. So, when you analyze the way you used someone's copyrighted work, you must analyze where on these four-factor continuums it may fall onto. Tally them up, and as a result, gauge which side it will lean toward between fair use and copyright infringement. It takes a lot of getting used to before you can instantly tell whether certain cases are fair use or not. You will find it helpful to study the court cases about the copyright and fair use in order to get a better sense of what's fair and how much is fair. We'll have some practice in class to help you get some sense of what and how much is fair.